I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Good evening. Welcome to the South River Board of Education regular meeting of Thursday, September 28th, 2023. In compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Laws of 1975 of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the South River Board of Education was provided in the following manner. On September 6, 2023, the notice was delivered to the office of the South River Borough Clerk and posted at the Board of Education Administration Building. On September 6, 2023, the notice was faxed, mailed to the following newspapers: Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger. And on September 6, 2023, the notice was posted at the South River Borough Clerk's office. Mr. Rosa, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Bazak.
Mr. Bazak has been excused.
Mr. Butson.
Here.
Mrs. Bush.
Mrs. Bush has been excused.
Mrs. Byrne.
Here.
Mrs. Lau.
Here.
Mr. Nielsen.
Here.
Mrs. Sadowski.
Here.
Ms. Young Yao.
Here.
Mr. Bannock.
Here.
Emmanuel Bizarro.
Here.
Did I say that correctly?
It's okay. It's Bizarra.
Bizarro. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, so on our agenda, the first item that we have under the board secretary are the minutes. Mr. Rosa.
There have been no changes from the pre-meeting.
Okay, thank you. Board members, what is your pleasure on the minutes?
Move the reading of the minutes.
Motion by Mr. Nielsen,
Second.
second by Mrs. Sadowski. Any questions, comments, corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes pass. Thank you. Mr. Rosa, what do we have for use of facilities, please?
For the use of facilities, there's been no changes since our pre-meeting.
Okay, thank you. And board members, what would you like your pleasure on the use of facilities request?
Move the use of facilities in accordance with board policies.
Motion by Mr. Nielsen.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Lau. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is the financial report. Mrs. Lau.
Thank you. Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby certifies that it is in receipt of the financial report, which indicates that no major account has been overexpended and that sufficient funds are available to meet the district's financial obligations for the remainder of the fiscal year. The Finance Committee recommends that the reports of the Board Secretary and the Treasurer of School Monies for June 2023 be approved, and I so move.
We have a motion by Mrs. Lau,
Second.
second by Ms. Young Yao. Are there any questions or comments on the financial report? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to turn the meeting over to our Superintendent of Schools for her monthly report, Dr. Zurcher.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Urbanik. For my superintendent's report today, I begin with just a reminder that we have information on our website about our upcoming referendum for November 7th. That referendum is for the rebuild of the stadium, which we know right now is closed due to safety concerns, as well as a turf field that we can use for multiple sports. And we're looking to really increase the access to Denny Stadium for our students. So we ask you, please go on our district website. You will see right on the front page of that website information about this referendum that is coming up November 7th. We will also shortly post some information about an in-person information session as well, and we will hold one of those before this election. So please, I encourage you once again to visit the website and look at that information. I also want to talk about our pre-K. And currently, the district serves 180 full-day pre-K students. We do so in 10 classrooms at the primary school and 2 classes at our South Amboy Head Start location. The pre-K program is fully grant funded. There is no cost for parents in order to enroll their children in our full-day pre-K. And it offers a thorough and comprehensive instructional program. There is a curriculum, that a curriculum has to be approved by the state. It is a learning program. It is not a child care program. We do not abide by any of the child care requirements, but we do abide by the state mandated curriculum requirements in that program. We have a wait list right now of 55 children who would like to be in the program who we cannot serve. And we cannot serve these children because we are completely out of space at the primary school, at the elementary school, at the middle school, at the high school. And we have been expanding the program in order to meet the need of the community. But once again, we have reached our capacity. And not only have we reached our capacity, but we've gotten to the point where we are impacting class size and opportunities for children beyond pre-K in our K-5 program, as well as our middle school program, because they share the same school. We believe, we know what the research says, pre-K is necessary, it is essential to ensure that our children have access to early childhood education, that they begin their education at the earliest possible point in their little lives, and that they have a great head start going into their kindergarten and elementary years. And so because of this, because we recognize this, because this has been a goal and something we are committed to as a school district, we are moving forward with the construction of a modular school building that will hold 12 pre-K classrooms. With this building, we will be able to take the children that are on the wait list and enroll them into pre-K. This has been a priority for us. It was a priority when we went out for a referendum last year. That referendum was voted down, and because we still have the need in the district, we found a way to be able to still serve the pre-K population. So, how are we funding this project? How are we making this pre-K accessible? This project is not referendum-based. It will not impact taxes. This project is being funded through a combination of our own local capital reserve funds within our existing school budget and a 5-year loan, which the board is approving this evening, that the district will pay over time. This is a modular building. It's not the brick and mortar structure that was planned in last year's referendum, and therefore the cost and also the type of building is significantly less than what was in that referendum. Some of the things we won't have access to is, for example, a large multi-purpose area or a kitchen. So we've made some sacrifices in order to make this a building we can afford within our local budget without a referendum, without increasing taxes. The modular building will have an adjacent parking lot. It will be built on our own district property, so we are not purchasing property. It will be built along Morningside and Montgomery Streets. The pre-K schedule is completely different from its adjacent schools. We do know that during the referendum process, people were concerned about increasing traffic in the area, about the parking in the area. Once again, this building has its own parking, and once again, the schedule for this school is completely different. These children will not be coming to their program until our other students are already in their schools for 50 minutes. And so traffic should not coincide with the elementary school, the middle school, the high school. We are hoping, again, that with this project, we look to eliminate the existing pre-K wait list. We look to offer an equal learning opportunity to all of the children of South River. And we are ready to begin with this project for an opening for the 24-25 school year. All right, so we will continue to send more information out as this project develops, but it's important for the public to understand how we are moving forward with pre-K. My next item on the report is about social emotional learning. The board approved us to hire 2 grant-funded climate and culture specialists. They are leading a very important initiative later this month. We are going to look at social emotional learning very much in the same way that we look at our other academic content areas. So for example, if we're thinking about an Algebra 1 class, we assess our students in the skills they have gained towards that content, but we don't really do that when it comes to social emotional learning skills and competencies. And so our climate and culture specialists are engaging in work to be able to have an appropriate way to evaluate the social emotional competencies that our students have, and then plan programs and supports to build those skills for the students that need that. They are also very much taking the lead on improving attendance, especially at the middle and high school, but also at the lower grade level where a lot of the attendance concerns are more health related. So they are really taking this initiative. It's related to one of our district goals, which I will share shortly, and we're very excited about the work that they've already started in the district. I want to remind our parents, our families, our students that we do have our high school lunchroom clubs running. There are a ton of activities, very varied activities that children can participate in, everything from table tennis, which I usually call ping pong, but they tell me it's table tennis. Anything from table tennis to chess to dance, a lot of activities available. Please, please encourage your child to get involved. There's a full list of activities on the high school's website. And the middle school also has many club offerings. Please look at those. We have information coming out about our 21st Century After School program that's coming out to our families on Monday. So please be on the lookout for that as well. Next on my superintendent's report, I'd like to go over the district goals that are presented for the board to approve this evening as we move into our 23-24 school year. There are 4 goals that we have developed. The first one is in instruction and learning. And for this coming school year, and based on performance data of our students, we are looking for intervention, enrichment, services, and supports as we focus in literacy in grades K through 5 and math in grades 6 through 12. We selected those focus areas and those grade spans, again, based on the data of our students' performance and what it indicates. And when we talk about literacy, for example, we're not speaking just about the reading and writing portion of our children's day, but we're really speaking about everything that entails literacy, which is all of our core subject areas. So really we're looking at, for example, in our social studies courses, how we are teaching informational text, how students are processing that text, understanding it, using it, and so on. Goal number 2 speaks to what I just shared about our climate and culture specialists, which is physical, social, and emotional health. And we are looking to develop and implement a systemic approach to ensure students and families can access the necessary skills and resources to support their physical, social, and emotional well-being. In goal number 3, we're looking at our staff and human resources, and we're looking to increase recruitment and retention efforts and sustain a working environment of highly trained and well-motivated staff. And in goal number 4, we're looking at safety and security, and we continuously evaluate and monitor safety and security measures and procedures, and we allocate the necessary funding and resources to enhance, improve, and respond to the current conditions that we face. And those are the 4 goals presented for the board to review and approve this evening. And so concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Zurcher. That was a very comprehensive report. Your superintendent's report, after it's approved, is posted on the district website. Is that correct?
That is correct. There is a tab under our district that says superintendent, and all of my monthly reports are posted there for the public to see and be able to get the information that we present at these meetings if they're not able to attend in person.
Great, thank you. I just wanted to emphasize this. This report is extremely comprehensive and full of a lot of information, and I really do appreciate everything that has been said in it. Do any other board members have any other comments or questions in regard to the superintendent's report or the district goals? So what is your pleasure on the superintendent's report?
Move the superintendent's report as read.
Motion by Mr. Nielsen,
Second.
second by Mrs. Sadowski. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The superintendent's report passes. At this time, the board is going to open up the meeting to the reception of of visitors and the public. And at this time, the public may address agenda items only. There will be a public portion at the end of this meeting for other items that may be of interest and concern to the Board of Education. If you do have any comments or questions, please come to the podium, state your name and address, and please keep your comments to a 10-minute time limit. Anyone from the public on first call?
I think this would be first call. I heard that you were going to post a report. When will that report be posted?
It's usually posted the following day after the meeting.
Okay, so I'll find it on the South River website. Yeah,
Correct.
Under, it was
Our district and then superintendent.
We talked about a new building. I saw some building that's being built on the, looked like a little cutout area in the high school. I just saw it was just the foundation. What's that?
That is our addition. That is a grant-funded project. It is an addition to the high school of 3 classrooms as well as a larger flexible space for different types of learning classes.
What is the current enrollment in this school?
At the high school, we're just above 800.
Wow. My son was there in the mid-1990s. It was about, just a little over, when he came in as a freshman, I think it was a little over 450. And in fact, they were thinking about having to close the high school. It wasn't enough to run it.
Yeah,
Now
no,
it's
we're,
expanding, almost double.
yeah.
Of course, you do have to realize also that from 1990 to now, the population of the country has increased almost 30%. People are surprised to hear that. Look at the 1990 census, and then look at the estimate for 2023, another 30%. Okay, I will give a talk later. Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you hand this out?
Are there any other members of the public for agenda items only? On first call, second call, third call. Okay, we're going to close this public portion, and we are going to go on to our committee the consent resolution. Before we do the consent resolution, while Mr. Rosa is getting ready, I just want to note that one of the items under the consent, in addition to the district goals, we have the board goals that we developed just the other night. I'm just going to read the titles of those board goals, and they do work in concert with the district goals, which is always a good thing. So the board goal number 1 is that the board will support programs and supports that close student learning delays with emphasis on parents and families with communication barriers. Board goal number 2 is the board will continue to participate in the audit and review of district practices to ensure a safe, secure, equitable, and productive learning environment for all. Board goal number 3, the board will work to enhance and maximize board meeting accessibility and transparency, hence your superintendent's reports being posted. And board goal number 4, the board will continue to provide resources for and to support the district's 5-year facilities plan. And during the year, this entire board does look at its board goals, and we do review to see if we are on track and keeping with the board goals. Mr. Rosa, consent.
Okay. The South River Board of Education, by means of a consent resolution, adopt various resolutions of a routine and non-controversial nature at one time. And whereas the below listed resolutions are hereby adopted by the said Board of Education in whole, as if the same were individually acted upon. And those are under the Superintendent of Schools, 3.2, under President of the Board, 5.2, under Finance, 8.1 through 8.19, under Instruction, 9.1 through 9.11, under Human Resources, 12.1 through 12.35, and under Safety and Risk Management, 13.1 through 13.5.
Thank you. Board members, your pleasure on the consent resolution.
Move the consent resolution.
Motion by Mr. Nielsen,
Second.
second by Mrs. Byrne. Any other comments? Do any of the items need to be pulled for separate reading, or anyone abstaining on any of the items? Mr. Rosa, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Butson.
Yes.
Mrs. Byrne.
Yes.
Mrs. Lau.
Yes.
Mr. Nielsen.
Yes.
Mrs. Sadowski.
Yes.
Ms. Young Yao.
Yes.
Mrs. Urbanek.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Now we're going to go to our committee reports, starting with athletics. Mr. Budzen.
It's not the on the agenda, but to mention that myself, Mr. Nielsen, the superintendent, met with the athletic director to talk about the schedule, football schedule, and explained that we are in Group 2, and we're all playing Group 2 schools. But it's hoped that next year, or before this, maybe in December, we may get knocked down to a different group, a lower group, that will help the team play and travel time. So that's all I have.
Thank you, and thank you for clearing that up. That was an item of discussion the other night that you brought up. Thank you very much. Buildings and grounds, Mr. Nielsen.
Nothing new to report tonight, Madam President. Mr. Baj's report was in the monthly report.
Thank you. Finance, Mrs. Lau.
I have 4 new items since the pre-meeting. 8.16, addition approved contract, Soliant Health LLC, school speech language pathologist services for the 23-24 school year. 8.17, addition approved contract, TPR Education LLC DBA, the Princeton Review tutoring services for the 23-24 and the 24-25 school years. 8.18, addition approved contract, TPR Education DBA, the Princeton Review tutoring service, pending high impact tutoring grant for the 23-24 and the 24-25 school years. And 8.19, addition approved contract, OSI Technology via the Omnia Partners Co-op pricing number R19-2008- for the PA system equipment and installation services at the high school. And that concludes finance.
Thank you. Would you please continue with the instruction committee report?
Absolutely. There are 2 additions, and then I would like to do a brief summary on Dr. Trevisono's report. So 9.10 is addition approved the 23-24 district testing schedule, and 9.11 is addition accept the donation of kitchen appliances, which was very nice. I would like to go ahead and mention that we received it from Garrett Sutton, JLS Consulting Services from Somerset. It was a refrigerator, a stove, a microwave, a dishwasher, and a gas dryer for South River High School through the special education department. So that was very nice. In terms of the report, Dr. T mentioned a couple of different things. Dr. Zurcher already hit upon the information related to the literacy and the math and all of the educational programming that occurred. Initially, we opened the school year with 25 new staff members, so they received a sheltered instruction observation protocol. They call it SIOP training, and it was done by our very own administrator in the district, Mrs. Gabriella Colon, and it's really to benefit our ESL population. It has been growing significantly in the last handful of years. So that's an important piece, and we've had many of our staff members becoming certified that way as well through a program. He went further to thank SREA because they sponsored a breakfast for the new staff on one of those in-service days, so I just want to acknowledge the SREA as well through the board for doing that for our new staff members. The last thing that he brought up was the change for grade 4. K through 4 are now going to be standard-based report cards, and 5 through 12 will remain our traditional, numerical, summative assessment-based. And that has been something he has been working on with the principals and the staff and admin to keep it so that it makes it more understandable in terms of the standards that the students are attaining at those younger years versus associating it with a grade. And that is all I have from his report. It is also posted. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Lowe. For our negotiations committee, there are no items to report on. Policy and legislation, Mrs. Burr.
There's nothing for this evening.
Thank you. Now, human resources, Mr. Nielsen.
Thank you, Madam President. I believe there are 5 additions to tonight, and that's 12.31, addition approved resignation, Anne Marie Carrick, elementary school teacher. 12.32, addition approved disability sick leave, Alexis Davison, high school physical education teacher, 2023-2024 school year. 12.33, addition approved disability sick leave, Gregory Hans, high school special education teacher, 2023-2024 school year. 12.34, addition approved family leave, Jeannie O'Hara, primary school special education teacher, 2023-2024 school year. And 12.35, addition approved disability sick leave, Brian Doherty, technology director, 2023-2024 school year. And that's all I have for tonight, Madam President.
Thank you. Our next committee, safety and risk management, Mrs. Sadowski.
Thank you. There are no new items from Monday night's meeting, but there was one change on item 13.2. The dates on the resolution were adjusted, and they should now read to be retroactive from September 18th of 2023 through September 21st of 2023. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank
I also
you.
wanted to
Yeah.
mention, Ms. Sadowski, and safety and risk, you had, as a board, previously approved the courtesy route
Yes.
that we were using in order to alleviate some of the traffic. We had offered the courtesy bus route to 176 students. We now have 58 students who have taken us up on that offer and who are riding on those courtesy buses. The courtesy buses are a mix of primary, elementary, middle school.
Thank you. For our school community relations, Ms. Yao.
Thank you. First, we're going to do the South River High School Student of the Month for September 2023. Aisha Umagaswaran has been selected as our first Student of the Month for the 23-24 school year due to her exemplary academic performance and commitment to community service and leadership. So congratulations to Aisha. Next, I have a letter from Daniel Sempora. He is our SREA president. It was received by the board. It says, I'm going to read it to you guys. It says, "Dear members of the South River Board of Education, as the month of September draws to a close and new routines for our students from pre-K to 12th grade are established, I would like to take this opportunity to personally express my gratitude for the recent sidebar agreement that was ratified in June 2023. The retention bonus for the 10-month certified staff and the opportunity to enjoy Fridays off during the summer for our 12-month staff, I believe, have made a positive impact for the new school year. In my 22 years of working in South River, we have never received a bonus. Fridays off during the summer for 12-month staff members is equally a wonderful opportunity to afford employees the ability to recharge and enjoy extended summer weekends that we simply cannot get enough of and wish would never end. Additionally, the Mashio's lunch on the second day of school was a great way to kickstart the new academic year and enjoy the newly renovated high school courtyard. Spending time with our staff and administrative team is time we are not often afforded throughout the year with our busy schedules. It provides a sense of camaraderie and unity among the staff, setting a positive tone for the year ahead, similar to our SREA-sponsored breakfast that same morning. It was a meaningful gesture that did not go unnoticed. Once again, thank you for your generosity and thoughtfulness. Your support is extremely important to me. I simply ask that you continue to support your educators in the difficult and complex world of education as we embark on the new year to continue to provide the best possible education to our students and support the community. Sincerely, Daniel Stempora. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's nice to hear.
Very nice. I know, Mr. Nielsen, you've been on the board as long as I have. I don't think, as I do not recall, ever receiving
No.
a letter
Ooh, no.
of that nature, and it's very encouraging. I think it really sets the tone of the work that this board does and how well it works with our staff and administrators. A lot of thanks to our administrator. Our School Board Borough Council Liaison Committee, anything, Mr. Nielsen?
Nah, we're in that weird type part of the year where elections are coming up, so people don't like to say much. Hopefully in January we'll have something new.
Thank you. PTA Liaison, Mrs. Sadowski.
Thank you. There's currently a lot going on at primary and elementary. At the primary school, there are penny wars going on, which is quite a battle from what I have been gathering. The money they make for the penny wars is going to go pay for the fall festival that will occur at the end of October. They also have a spirit wear sale that's going on right now that ends tomorrow, and they are planning a Hispanic Heritage Night, which will take place on Friday, October 13th from 6 to 8 p.m. I do believe it is free admission. You just have to go onto the PTA website and buy a ticket, but it's free admission. This night will include student displays, cultural performances by local groups, and I think they're even having cultural foods. At the elementary school, the first meeting of the school year will take place on October 4th at 7:30 via Zoom. I do believe they are posting the link to Facebook if anybody's interested. And I just encourage everybody, all parents, to get involved at their children's schools. PTAs cannot happen unless you have the support of parents, as well as administrators and teachers. So it's a very important organization for our kids. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. South River Public Library Liaison, Mr. Budzen.
The summer reading program was a great success. The library received a grant for the programming for the upcoming lunar eclipses, both the partial eclipse of October 14th and April 8th, 2024 will be visible in the area. Look at the website to find out what they have. The October anniversary program is a spooky farm garden on Monday, October 23rd at 6 p.m. Their summer garden program, fairy garden program, was so successful that parents are now wanting to do it. The library will be co-hosting the Trunk and Treat program. When is it? October 21st at the library from 3 p.m. till 5 p.m. The library will remain open later for the decorate. The fall book sale is Monday, November 6th through Thursday, November 9th during library hours. That's all I have.
Thank you. And now I'd like to go to our new student board representative, Ms. Becerra. Welcome.
Thank you. So since September is the first month of the school year, I do have a few things to say. First of all, which I think is great, is the new school renewal. Like you guys painted the walls, the reform of the media center, the courtyard, the new area that's being built outside. All of that looks really nice, and I have to say that, especially me, it's really nice to come to the school in your first day and see that everything looks new and different. It really gives a feeling of a fresh start, and I think it just brings a new optimistic feeling to the students to see that everything looks new and better. Second is I heard that the equipment here in the auditorium has been replaced. And since last year, I've been a part of the drama club, and Mr. Lyons struggled a little bit with the sounding equipment, so we got really, really happy to know that it has been changed and that it's new. And I think that it really works as like a motivator for the drama club this year and the future other clubs and events that's going to use from this equipment. Second, as Dr. Zurcher mentioned, we had the club fair, an introduction to many other different clubs. I really like that. I mean, myself, I subscribed in like 7 different clubs because they all looked, it's very interesting. I love this whole involvement, and you have a great like diversity of groups, so you can really suit any kind of students. That's really nice. Of course, the pep rally, spirit games, slope beating, that's very nice. Since I moved here last year in October, I didn't got to experience that thing from high school, and I have to say that's a really nice experience. It's really nice to see how the whole school gets involved in that, and how that also works to cheer up the vibe for all the students. It's really nice to see that. The homecoming dance, I've heard some complaints at first because it was going to happen here at the school, but I think things are going to be better now that they're doing the fall fling. That's how they're calling it right now, and apparently it's going to be somewhere else. So now I think there's going to be more people on it. And to finish, it's just the same thing that Dr. Zurcher also mentioned, is that currently the school is struggling a little bit with the students wearing their IDs, with absences and getting late. This week I helped Miss Stout to go around to talk to especially like ESL students, while I was translating some things to the students because they were struggling with it. And everyone understood the message very clear. Everybody says that they're gonna try to get here on time. So I think that's gonna work out in the end. That's it.
Thank you. Ms. Pizarro, where did you move here from?
Oh, I'm from Brazil. Yeah.
Okay, and you just moved here?
I moved here last August.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, welcome. I know the whole board welcomes you, and
Thank you.
very excited to have you as our student board representative.
Thank you.
I think
I'm
you're going to be a
excited to
great
be here.
asset to this board. And what year are you in?
I'm a senior right now.
You're a senior.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll only have you for 1 year.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
All
nice
right,
to
well-
hear, it's good to hear, nice things coming from the students. We normally don't get that, that they were happy with the paintings of the hallways and all the other stuff that's been done and the new programs that, this board has initiated with the, all those clubs you can join. It's nice to hear. We normally just get a lot of grief about things that we do because people don't come to a meeting and listen. And to have a voice from within come out and tell us that we're doing a good job, I appreciate it. And I
know
hope
that
I
you
can
guys
speak
put
for the
a
rest
lot
of the board.
Like of effort and money on that. So I think like you guys should have that recognized, you know what I mean?
Well, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, is there any old or new business to come before the board? And do we have a report from our attorney?
And nothing for public, but we will be going into executive session shortly.
Thank you. Payment of bills, Mrs. Lau.
Thank you. The Finance Committee recommends that all bills presented, having been certified by the School Business Administrator, Board Secretary, be paid as listed, and I so move.
We have a motion by Mrs. Lau,
Second,
second by Mr. Nielsen. Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. At this time, we are going to once again open up the meeting to our public, and the public may address any concerns or comments that they have and feel may benefit the board. When you come up, please state your name and address, and please keep your comments
pass it around.
to a 10-minute limit.
I'm Dr. Norman Scheinberg, and I live at 24 New Street in South River. The last time we met, I discussed the school shooting databases. By the way, I met with your Director of Security, spoke to him probably for about 3/4 of an hour. We had a nice discussion, very pleasant gentleman. From the school shootings that I read to you last time, you can see that most of the lost my place a little bit over here. The last time we met, I discussed the school shooting databases that provides data on school shootings. Those databases revealed that the total number of students shot to death is 0 on a K-12 school campus in New Jersey while the school was in session. That's right, absolutely 0. No one was killed last year in a school in New Jersey, not the year before, not the year before that, and I can state this 100 times for 100 years. No one has been shot and killed on a New Jersey campus while the school was in session. If you ask parents that question, how many students they think have been killed, the numbers you get are really shocking. Keep that in mind. From the school shootings that I read to you last time, you can see that most, and I read them, every one that occurred in New Jersey, every shooting. You can see that most, by the way, you can see that most of the shootings in those databases had nothing to do with the school, if you remember that. They did not put students in danger while the school was in session. I unfortunately used the term real school shootings and was kind of taken back at that. That's what happens sometimes when you speak extemporaneously. I should have said relevant school shootings. That is, those shootings were not relevant to the safety of the students, which is your concern. They didn't occur, they didn't involve students, or didn't occur while the school was in session. Okay. The Washington Post came up with its own database to address this issue. I plotted the data from the database on page 3, if you'll turn to page 3. By the way, this handout will supersede the previous one. They're almost identical, but there's very slight differences. So if you kept the old handout, throw it out and take this one. So if you look at the Washington Post gun-related homicides, age 5 through 18, these are targeted and indiscriminate school shootings. There's a long description as to how they put this database together, but it's basically what I said before. Now, if you look over this database, it starts in 1998, actually at Columbine. It ends in 2023, and you can see on the side there in the little print the major shootings, why there's peaks over there. There's been about 10 mass shootings over the last 20 years. That's due to those peaks. Some of you heard of, probably some of you haven't. Okay. The plot shows no pattern over time. That's what's important. No increase or decrease in shootings. The average from the Washington Post database is really slightly less than 10 per year, with a typical of about 5 students per year are killed in the entire United States. There's 50 million students. There's 100,000 schools. And the average, as I said, is less than 5, typically 10, and it peaks up in a really bad year, a little over 30. That compares to 2,000 students that are killed once they step out of school. 2,000 students and teens, children and teens, are killed in this year each year. That's a massive number. 5, 10, 15, 20 is just a statistical round-off. That's a round-off error. I'll get into this in more detail, how incredibly safe schools are. This compares with about 2,000 children and teens shot to death, as I said, outside the schools. Okay, let's turn to page 4. Turn to page 4. I added this graph, which used the data from the K-12 school shooting database because it includes the 1990s. I included in the graph homicides of students while the school was in session. The database has more than that. This is just while students was in session. It includes accidental shootings and suicides, which are not part of the first database, gang-related shootings, and all school-sponsored events, like our Saturdays, football games. Even though the schools closed then, this includes that, so the numbers are a little bit higher. Now, if you look at this, one of the things you can see is that in the 1990s, there's been more school shootings than now. There's been a general decrease in school shootings right up to about 2018. This has been reported in many editorials and commentators in school newspapers. This idea that our children are being killed massively in schools is ridiculous. The data just doesn't show it. And these are the official school shooting databases. There are no other databases. I listed about 6 or 7 of them on a previous sheet. Lately, there's been a little uptick, but we don't know what will happen. Keep in mind that between 1990 and now, there's been about a 30% increase in population. So if you looked at this statistic based upon per capita, as normal homicides rates are given, like so many per 100,000. Those early ones in the 90s should really be 30% higher. They should be up around 20. And then it would be very obvious that the number has been decreasing of shooting. Not of shootings, sorry. The number of shootings has not been decreasing. It's the number of students killed that's been decreasing. How about New York City? I talked about New Jersey. We think of New York City as some place that's just full of gangs, violence, drugs, and so on. When I was looking through the databases, I thought the databases must have some problem because I couldn't find any shootings in New York. I couldn't find any dead students in their schools. But I finally came across an article on WCBS. You know, that's the TV station. And it said in 2017, for the first time, that's 2017, 6 years ago, for the first time in 25 years, a student had been killed in a New York City school. One, the first time in 25 years, and the student was stabbed to death. That's why it didn't show up in my school shooting database. I then checked the databases since then and found none. New York City schools do not have armed resource officers in them. There's been a big push among parents that are just terrified their kids are going to be killed to put armed officers in the school, but they won't do it. The officers in the school are unarmed, and I've read that about 70% of them are women. So what they basically are is doormen, like you'd have in a, just an apartment building or receptionist. Then the next page, look at page 5. On page 5 is the CDC, School-Associated Violent Deaths. This includes not only shootings, but it includes stabbings and fights. This is the complete database. This includes deaths that occur even when the school is closed, all deaths, but just of children. You can see the numbers are higher. They average a little over 20, but again, there's a general downward trend over time. This, by the way, is not my graph. This is a screenshot from the National Center for Education Statistics. According to Wikipedia, the National Center for Education Statistics is the primary federal entity for collecting and analyzing data related to education. Again, 20 out of hundreds. Now, let's look at the next page, page 5A. A lot of people think that these school shootings began with Columbine in 1999. Here's a list from the school shooting database of attacks on schools before Columbine. It's the 20 years before Columbine. And it shows 10 attacks, not much different than since then. There's some details there, but the first attack is 1998, 5 killed, 10 wounded. 1997, 3 killed, 5 wounded. 1997, 2 killed, 7 wounded. 1989, 5 killed, 30 wounded. This is all before Columbine. Nobody ever noticed this. Look at 1986 in Cookeville, Wyoming, 74 students injured. I would be old enough to remember that. It didn't even hit the news. 74 students injured. It was a firebombing and a shooting in a school. This is massive. Then there's California, 1984, 12 wounded. 1984, 2 killed, 8 wounded. 1983, 5 wounded. 1980, 10 wounded. 1979, 2 wounded, 2 killed, 9 wounded. And the biggest loss of life ever in a school occurred in 1927 in Bath, Michigan, little town in Bath, Michigan. A member of the school board, actually a former member of the school board, put dynamite under the floorboards of the school and blew it up. I hope you guys don't do that. You're members of the school board.
Wasn't that the business administrator that?
It said just former member of the school board. It could have been. I don't know. He had a beef over school taxes.
Business administrator is not a member of the school board, sorry.
It said that on many sites, including Wikipedia and
I
the
read
school
the
shooting
article
database.
myself.
Okay, it could have been. Okay. I don't think you guys are going to blow up the school, so that's not the point. Fortunately, only half the dynamite went off. Otherwise, there would have been more casualties. 38 children were killed. So this has been going on forever. And in fact, the data showed it hasn't been increasing. Although it shows a slight decrease. I wouldn't go that far and say it's decreasing. I'd say it just goes up and down. Then on page 6, this is an anomalous graph that I have trouble explaining. It shows nothing about deaths or casualties. It simply shows the number of school shooting incidences over time from 2 databases. The bottom graph is the Washington Post database, and you can see the number of school shooting instances has definitely been increasing in the limited Washington Post database. This is number 6. You guys have it?
Yes.
Okay. Then the top one is from the GAO, the Government Accountability Office, and it's basically the K through 12 shooting database of shootings only when the school is in session. This has a much broader definition, so there's more. And what you can see is the number of school shootings has been increasing dramatically over time, but the casualties have not. There's a disconnect. The casualties have been going down, the number of dead students.
So we should be glad that people can't shoot straight.
No, that's ridiculous to believe they can shoot straight. The question is, why is it happening? And I can only speculate. Nothing else here is my speculation.
Dr. Steinberg, your 10 minutes have expired.
Will you give me another 5 minutes and I'll finish this one graph at least?
I'd like you to please get to your point and wrap it up in
Okay.
another 90 seconds.
Okay.
I will be that
So
courteous.
I can only speculate. And my speculation isn't really worth that much because I'm not an expert on this.
What is
But-
your point of
Okay,
this
but my point is that
presentation
nothing
of
is going on. The point of this
information?
thing, even with the number of school shootings going up, these all come from newspaper reports. It's either reporting bias, that they're simply reporting everything as a school shooting, I have some evidence of that, or schools, or guns are being brought to school and being fired not with the intent to shoot other students. More students are bringing guns to school, so there's accidental shootings. There's more suicides in schools. It can't be just that they're missing. That's ridiculous. By the way, okay, I'll wrap it up there and I'll finish this the rest of the time. I have 2 more pages and it will probably take 5 minutes to finish those pages. And in spite of what it might say here, that the Board of Education, of your goals and plans is public participation, board meetings, you really don't want me to finish this or participate, but I will come back again. Or you give me another 5 or 10 minutes to finish. You can vote to do that. And I'll finish this up. It's just 2 more pages. It's up to you.
What I'd like to ask the board and poll the board, but what I'd also like to know is, in your presentation of this document,
The last page wraps it up.
is there something that you want to let us know or advise or suggest to us?
That will come eventually, because I have 2 more sections of this. Like I said, with the amount of time I
2
have,
more
this...
sections or
2 more
pages?
sections of this. In other words, there is more to this. This is not the complete handout. I've given you what I thought I could do at this time. And in the other sections, there are suggestions made by experts on what to do about this, and SROs. But I first felt it very important to get through the data to convince you that nothing really is going on in the school, that students are not dying at
Okay.
higher rates than before, that if I
Well-
simply said that students aren't getting shot and killed in school, no one would believe me. Who am I to you? So I had to give you a list in the beginning of all the school shooting databases and go through this boilerplate stuff first.
Well, since
Data
there-
is the most important thing. If you don't believe the data, you won't believe the conclusions that are going to come several months from now.
Since there are only 2 pages left.
Yes.
And we've been following along with you, not only this month, but I believe it was last month or the
Yes,
month
it was
before.
the month before. I couldn't make it last month.
It's my opinion that everyone on this board is well-versed enough and intelligent to understand and extrapolate from these last 2 pages. So I'm going to invite you back next month, and thank you very much.
Okay, but I will still do the last 2 pages and then some new material. Because I'm not
Next month.
sure that these
Sure.
pages speak for themselves, despite of you
Okay.
saying that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else from the public wishing to speak to the board at this time? On first call, on second call, and on third call? Seeing none, we are going to close this public portion, and at this time, the board is going to go into executive session. So be it resolved that pursuant to Section 7 and 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, the following subjects be discussed at a session of the Board of Education closed to the public, and that falls under attorney-client privilege. Is there a motion?
Nielsen.
Motion by Mr. Nielsen, second by Mrs. Lowe. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Steinberg, the first one you gave us, I can rip that up, throw it out, just keep the new one.
Yeah, the second one has a little better grasp, a little bit, and it a little bit better.
All right, sir, thank you.
And there'll be more. There'll be 2 other major pieces with conclusions. Not my conclusions.